Ram Jaya Jaya Ram, Shri Ram Jaya Ram, 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Mitro, friends, we are studying Yoga Vaashishtha Maha Ramayanam. Third Utpatthi Prakaranam Leelopakhyanam. Almost few more chapters or sargas to conclude 20-25 sargas. So many things we have seen. Now the Jiva, Marana, Samsara, Varnana exhaustively done. That all you can understand in Upanishadic language as the Tvam searching or understanding or Shodhana. So to now on Leela's Prashna, Mother Saraswati talks about the Tatpada Ishvara also. He one side knows he is Brahman, two with Maya he is Ishvara, three it is his Svecha, anytime, anywhere he can do Sankalpa, four because of that his Sankalpa only there is Stavara Jangama, there is Jada Chetana set in motion right from beginning of creation even now. Yet he is not bound by them, not caught by them because he has the Adhisthana Jnana, which denies giving reality to the projected. In our case, we don't have the Adhisthana Jnana, therefore, we take the Adhyaropita or Kalpita or projected world as real. That is how, because we take it as real, we so sincerely, with all prestige and ego, we participate in this world. Thus, we get the result of Sukha Dukkha. Ishvara neither wants the Sukha nor is disappointed with Dukkha. He only, in his projecting this world, is expressing his Ananda. That's the difference between Jiva and Ishvara. So Ishvara does his Srishti as his Leela with everything in his control. You and I, Jiva, do everything controlled by our avidyas and our vasanas. Therefore, we are bound. Still, we can, through various sadhanas, eject out of all this projected and realize the reality. That is what is anyone who finds his life to be in misery and wants permanent bliss, permanent liberation, he'll have to seek it. If somebody feels okay with this samsara of karma phala, janma, marana, naturally he won't become a questioner or a jignasu. So his the tattva jnana, shastra jnana, he doesn't seek it, so it is invalid for him. He will continue in samsara. What is our position? And after listening all these things objectively, we have to translate them subjectively for ourselves. Within us, are we fed up of all the limitations and dukkha? Within us, are we wanting deeply the total emancipation, total liberation, total freedom from all finitudes? Then we have to seek the eternal truth. So, this is how we clear about all these things. May the divine bless us with all these understandings and followed by it the right visions to make the human life yield to us the moksha sthiti by using it for the best of the purpose through all these adhyatmika endeavors. Let us see what are those things that Mother Saraswati is teaching through Leela to all of us. Sri Vaashishtha ji is teaching through Rama Bhagavan to all of us. 3-4 minutes in our Mangalacharana shloka. Om 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 Sahanavavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मभक्तियोगधर्म विद्यासम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः ॐ यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्व वेदान्ताः सच्चास्त्राः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। ॐ श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं रामनाम वरानने। ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तन्नमामि। परब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे समस्तब्रह्म भक्तियोगधर्मविद्या आचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो देवताभ्यो अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्री रामचंद्र परब्रह्मणे श्री वशिष्ठादि ऋषिभ्यो नमः। तेषां सर्वेषां संकल्पः तेषां सर्वेषां कृपानुग्रहेण उपनिषद योग वासिष्ठ महारामायणोक्त ब्रह्मात्मैक्यमोधेन अस्मिन् क्षणे एव मोक्ष कैवल्य प्राप्त्यर्थं श्रुति स्मृति पुराणे इतिहास संतवाङ्मयोक्त साध्य साधनानुभव सिद्ध्यर्थं तत्रोक्त ऋषिमुनिगुरुदेवता दर्शनानुग्रहानुभव प्राप्त्यर्थं सनातन धर्मस्य विश्वव्याप्ति विश्वाध्यात्मिक प्रगत्यर्थम धर्म संस्थापकानां नित्य निरंतर दिग्विजयार्थम श्रीराम मंदिरवत् शिव कृष्णादि मंदिरादीनां पुनर्वाप्ति तेषु निरंतर शास्त्र अध्ययनादीनां द्वारा भारतवर्षस्य सनातन धर्मस्य बाह्याभ्यंतर शत्रुघ्न शाश्वत समूल निर्मूलन पूर्वक भारतवर्षे विश्वे च अस्मात् क्षणादारभ्य वैदिक हैन्दव संस्कृतेः धर्ममोक्ष पुरुषार्थानां सुसंप्रतिष्ठावाप्त्यर्थं अस्यां कक्षायाम् आगतानां संकल्पित सत्कर्मसु दिग्विजयः तेषां हृदये परब्रह्मादीनां प्रति भक्त्यादीनां द्वारा जन्म साफल्यार्थं अनेक शास्त्राणाम अध्ययन साधना प्रयत्न मध्ये श्री वाल्मीकि महर्षि विरचित श्री राम वशिष्ठ संवाद रूप श्री योग वासिष्ठ महारामायण स्मृति मोक्ष प्रकरण शास्त्रस्य पारायणम अध्ययनं साधना प्रयत्नं मोक्षार्थं वयं सर्वे करिष्यामहे। मंगलाचरण श्लोकाः। ओम यत सर्वाणि भूतानि प्रतिभान्ति स्थितानि च यत्रैवोपशमं यान्ति तस्मै सत्यात्मने नमः। ज्ञाता ज्ञानं तथा ज्ञेयं द्रष्टा दर्शन दृश्यभूः कर्ता हेतुः क्रिया यस्मात् तस्मै ज्ञप्त्यात्मने नमः। स्फुरन्ति सीकरा यस्मात् आनन्दस्याम्बरे वनौ सर्वेषां जीवनं तस्मै ब्रह्मानन्दात्मने नमः। दिवि भूमौ तथाकाशे बहिरन्तश्च मे विभुः यो विभात्यवभासात्मा तस्मै सर्वात्मने नमः। सत्यं ज्ञानमनन्तमेकमजरं नित्यं विभुं शाश्वतं प्रत्यग्ब्रह्मरसायनं सुखगनं पूर्णं परं पावनं स्वात्मज्योतिरनादिमध्यनिधनं मायाविलासैर्मुहुः विश्वाकारमपास्तमायमभयं वन्दे विशुद्धं पदं। ज्ञानादेवात्मनो मोक्षः न तु कर्मसमाधिभिः अज्ञातोऽसौ सदृश्यं सृजत्येवेति कीर्त्यते। तस्मै श्रीगुरवे वसिष्ठमुनये नित्यं नमस्कुर्महे। विश्वामित्रमुनिं शरण्यमनघं भूयो नमस्याम्यहम्। तस्मै वाल्मीकये श्री गुरुतमगुरवे भूरिभावैर्नता स्मः। पूर्णानन्दस्वभावः स्वजनहितकृते माययोपात्तकायः कारुण्यादुद्दिदीर्षुर्जनमनवरतं मोहपङ्के निमग्नम् आविश्यान्तर्वसिष्ठं बहिरभिगलयन् शिष्यभावं वितेने यः संवादेन शास्त्रामृतजलधिममुं रामचन्द्रं प्रपद्ये। ओम श्री रामचंद्र परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्री वशिष्ठादि ऋषिभ्यो नमः। श्री योग वासिष्ठ महारामायण शास्त्रम तृतीयोत्पत्ति प्रकरणे लीलोपाख्याने मरण संसार वर्णनम नाम पंचपंचाशत्तम सर्गः। श्री वशिष्ठ उवाच श्रीदेवी उवाच। So what was Leela's prashna? Adi Sarge, in the first of the creations, Yatha Devi Brahma Eshaha Pravartate. This Jagat Brahma, as it has gone into expression, Tatha Katayame Bhuyaha Prasadat Bodha Vruddhaye. Therefore, if you have told it, thank you, but please tell me again so that my Bodha grows. So here, in her question, one thing what she said that we have to little more detailedly understand. She says, Adi Sarge Yatha Devi Eshaha Brahmaha Pravartate. Dekho, when we don't know this rope as rope, then when we see the snake, it is called Brahma or Bhranti. है ना? When you know the rope as rope, and playing the play of a snake, then it is not called as Brahma, it is called Leela. So, Jiva, you and I don't know the reality. Therefore, for us, all the projected world is Brahma. Again, we take it as Satya, therefore, it becomes Samsara for us. Nasti kalpitaha satyarupena svikruta samsara. So nasti, Jagat is never there. What is there is Brahman only. But in that it is kalpitaha. Once kalpita, it is called Brahma. But it is taken as Satya, then we suffer. Isn't it? In the case of Ishvara, for him, Brahman only, himself Brahman only, entire this whole world of gamut. Therefore, he knows the substratum as himself. Because of that awakening to that substratum, he is not in Bhranti. Therefore, for him, this Jagat is himself, not real other than him. So he is porting in himself only. Na? So there is nothing other than him to create the Raga Dvesha and get lost in samsara like us. Then how is he playing? Yes, one person playing so many roles. The Ishvara himself becomes everything. He is the Guru, he is the Shishya, he is the Raja, he is the Praja, he is Agni, Vayu, Jala, Surya, Ityad. That is what was the first teaching. Paramarthaganam Shailaha, Paramarthaganam Drumaha, Paramarthaganam Prithvi, Paramarthaganam Naha. See, basically all of this, the Shailaha, Drumaha, Prithvi, then Navaha, such all of them are nothing but the solid Parabrahma Paramatma only, in and through every one of them, like in every of the wave, right from beginning end, in and through, there is water only, like in every of the pot, anywhere you see mud alone, like in all the ornaments, wherever you see it's gold alone. So too in this Shaila, Drumaha, Navaha, and also Prithvi, everywhere what is there is Adhisthana Brahma. Okay. Now that Ishvara, Chidishvara, Sarvatmakatvat, he is the Atma of everything. So, with his own Shakti, Yataha Yatha Udeti, wherever way, he wants to express as whatever. Like the water has its Shakti, so wherever it wants, it can express. Somewhere as ripple, somewhere as bubble, somewhere as the wave, somewhere as the tide, isn't it? It is its Shakti. So from the Ishvara standpoint, Yataha Yatha Udeti Chid Ishvaraha Paramakasha Shuddhatma. That Chit Swarupa, Parama Akasha, Shuddha Swarupa, Chaitanya Swarupa, Paramatma, uh, Yataha Yatha Udeti, Tatra Tatha Bhavetu. This is what is to be caught. Wherever he does his sankalpa, there he appears like that. He never loses his original position. He appears like that, but never becomes like that. It appears like it, but it is not created. This is what we have seen in our earlier thoughts also. Continuation, Sargadau. So you asked about the beginning of creation. Sargadau, Sapna Purusha Nya, Sargadau, Sapna Purusha Nyayena Adi Prajapatihi, Yatha Sputam Prakachitaha, Tata Adhyapi Sthita Sthitihi. So all the set of what you see is right from the beginning of creation, wherein in the beginning of creation, this is how the Chit Swarupa Paramatma with his Maya Shakti has done the Sankalpa like that. Sarga Adau, beginning of the creation, Swapna Purusha Nyayena. That Swapna Purusha Nyayena, like in the Swapna, everything is me only. My own Chit Shakti say, Chitta Shakti say, I only become everything. But have I become everything? Only appeared. In case of human beings, when the dream they project, they are in delusion, taking the dream to be real, forget they are wakers. But in case of Ishvara, neither he takes the projected dream as real, nor he forgets his real status. That is the difference. So, Sargadau, Swapna Purusha Nyayena, Adi Prajapatihi, the first of the creator, the Hiranyagarbha, the Ishvara, the Paramatma, Yatha Sputam Prakachitaha. In his own Spashtata, In whatever the way he has done the prakachanam, the sankalpaha, tatha, in the same way, adhyapi sthita sthitihi. Everything is like that only. And any number of creations happen after the pralaya, it will be like that. This is called again as the niyati. So, yatha sputam prakachitaha tatha adhyapi sthita sthiti. Okay, so in his own prakashanam or thinking, he created universe. One point. Second, in that created universe, he created beings also. Second, among the beings, human being also. Third, to the human being, he gave freedom. Fourth, freedom ke sath, human being has three options of dushkarma, satkarma, sadhana karma, and he is the one who is providing results to them. What is difficulty in grasping this? You see? So, prathamosau pratispandaha padarthanam hi bimbakam pratibimbitamē tasmat yattadadhyapi samsthitam. That's what. So, as we explained yesterday, the Ishvara Srishti is Bimba, seeing that Jiva, whatever creates for himself, projects himself for himself out of the freedom given, it is called as Pratibimba. So without Bimba, the Ishvara's projection, the Pratibimba, the Jiva of his own choice, he cannot create. And whatever the Pratibimba Jiva creates, with that he has Raga Dvesha, and in that he is caught up. Through Punya and Papa, through Sukha and Dukkha. So Pratibimbita Metasmat Yattad Adhyapi Samsthitam. And the jivas with the freedom given from the beginning till now, they are using the bimba, creating their own pratibimba, continuing to eke out the sukha dukkha rupi samsara. Okay. Now, how the vriksha adi, they don't respond. Human beings are responding. What is the difference between these two? Little subtle thought here in 49, Bhagavan mentions. Our Ram, Vasishthaji or Saraswati Mata. Ki yannama sushiram sthanam dehanam tadgato nilaha karoti anga parispandam jivati iti uchyate tataha. See, those dehas in which there are sushira, the apertures, the holes. Tadgataha anilaha. Into them the anilaha, the pranavayu enters. Having entered, it does the anga parispandam. It activates the limbs in that personality or in that sharira. Then jivati iti uchyate tata. Then he is called as he is jivati. So the Manushya, Pashu, Pakshi, we have the nostril apertures, isn't it? Mainly. Through that the Vayu goes inside. That activates all our Anga Pratyanga. Okay? Anga Pratyanga रहना एक बात है, necessary. Pranavayu has to enter into them, more necessary. Then, because the Pranavayu inside, the Anga Pratyanga, whatever they are here, Parispandita, they are activated, then the life is in them. So, like my hand, I move the hand. This Parispanda, this movement of the hand indicates that I am alive. So how the hand is moving, because of which I am called as the Jivati, I am alive because the movement is of the hand, because of within the hand the Sthula Sharira, within whatever the other aspects are there, within them the Prana Shakti is doing this Spandana. That is why when the Prana goes away, the hand doesn't move. कोई उठा के छोड़ दी, ठवाक गिर जाता है. Okay, in this way, yannama sushiram sthanam dehanam tadgataha anilaha karoti anga parispandam. So jivati iti uchyate tataha. And this way, the vriksha adi jati, they don't have this type of apertures into which the air can go and activate the vriksha. Therefore, the vriksha doesn't have the indriya charya, that the tree looking at us, tree listening to us, tree talking to us, tree running from there, अपने जड़ को पाओ ना उखाड़ कर जमीन से दौड़ने लगा पेड़. These are all not there. because that way the pranavayu is not there in it. The apertures are not there in it. This is one thing. About the trees, etc., are at one place, and we human being, etc., with all indriya chesta, we are living. This is a system made that way by Ishvara in the beginning. So remember, very subtle thought is what? It is by his choice. He made some Rupanama in which prana enters and activates, called as Manusha Pashu. There is another thing which is alive, but then not actively responding, like we respond the trees. Remember, the thing is what? It was Ishvara's Leela in that way it to happen. Remember, whether it is stone, absolutely non-responding, a tree responding but not reacting like us, the Pashupakshi Manusha responding. All of that is, remember, the Adhisthana Brahma is same. Second is Ishvara Leela. Third, in the Ishvara Leela, which is only Kalpita by him, okay, not real, the play is going on. That's how for the Ishvara, because everything is his play, he doesn't have any of the differentiation. Play is going on, like chessboard, mein, all the coins. Basically, they are made of wood or plastic only, no? From that standpoint, there is no difference. But to each of the piece, whatever the name you give, you empower it. You know? Like the pawn, how it moves, the bishop, how it moves, the rook, how it moves, and then horse, jo bhi kehte ho, what do you call that, queen and king. So you give them powers, then that moves. Isn't it? In fact, that moves also we only put, the Ishvara only does. So, karoti anga parispandam jivati iti uchyate tataha. So, sargadavevam eva esha jangameshu sthita sthitihi. This is how, in the beginning of creation, all which are moving and in which the Indriya Spandana is there, Bhagavan has made that set. And that also to those individual jivas, as long as the prarabdha to be there in that body is there. Once that is over, Bhagavan stops the supply of the air going inside, prana going inside the sushira, even he also becomes non-responsive. Like the trees are stones called as dead. So, sargadau evam eva esha jangameshu sthita sthitihi. Now, chetanapi nispandaha tenaite padapadayaha. So, in all the jangamas, that setup is made. And in the padapas, the trees, etc., Bhagavan made this type of setup. So it's only to know that the Ishvara made like that. There is neither to question him nor to go against him. That is how the Niyati it is made. This is about this the Chetana Yukta, both plants and human beings. They are not moving, we are moving. They are not responding, we are responding. Now the next question is what? The basic question itself about the Jadata and Chetanata. Even that also, you know, the Chetanata, the lifeness, is also Pratibimba of that Paramatma in that particular equipment. That is the next topic. Chidakashaha ayam eva amsham kurute chetanoditam. See? Sa eva samvit bhavati shesham bhavati naiva tatu. See? Chidakashaha, you know, pure consciousness. Ayam eva, that ayam chidakasha eva amsham kurute chetana uditam. That which we talk in our other Vedantic texts, that chidakasha, maya shakti alone, when it expresses as chitta, in that chitta vritti is variety. One of them is the aham vritti. That is the set of Ishvara's plan. In that aham vritti, the chidakasha gets pratibimbita. It's called as chit pratibimba or chidabhas. And that chidabhasa becomes conscious or becomes the knower. That is how he knows, he owns, he does, he experiences. है ना? ज्ञायते, जानाति, इच्छति, करोति, bhunkte. That janati ichchati karoti bhunkte in all of us that is happening is how, because the Paramatma in our aham vritti is reflecting as the knowingness and all the other three things. Wherever it happens, there that individuality with the Jnana Shakti, Icha Kriya Shakti, and the Bhunkte Bhoga Shakti, he expresses. It's a phenomena. Nothing to be so seriously given or taken. That is the beauty of here. Sa eva samvid bhavati, shesham bhavati, naiva tatu. So, there Bhagavan says here, ki, uh, and other than this Jiva Bhava, whatever the upadhis he has got, they also are active because Paramatma Prana Shakti is there, which is already told above. All the Indriya Ityadi. So, this is how in the next thing we see, Naropadi Puram Praptam Chetati Akshiputam Nayatu Tattasya Na Akshichit Jivam No Jivatyeva Sargataha. See, this pure ahamvritti reflecting Chidakasha as Chidabhasa. Now, again by the Ishvara Leela, Nara Upadipuram Praptam. It enters into the Pura, the township named as human being. So, Navadvare Pure Dehin, so many texts. Puram Ekadasha Dwaram Ajasya Vakra Chetasaha. In Gita Upanishad, we have seen Sharira is compared with a Pura. So, in this Nara Upadipura, that Jiva Bhava enters. Chetayati Akshiputam Nayat. Having entered that, what is its capacity that Ahamrutti now enlivened and now become Chidabhasa Yukta Jnata Jnayate Karoti Ichchati Bhunkte? That individuality goes into every of the Golaka, every of the Indriya that are there in the Nara Upadhi, then makes those things function. Now, tattasya na akshichit jivam no jivatyeva sargataha. This important thing is what? One may ask a question that these indriyas also are projected on the chit only. Therefore, chit is there in them also, like chit is there in this ahamvritti or buddhi vritti. Therefore, these upadhis must function independently. A big question. Indriyas vagara. He says, no, 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 no. That facility or that way the Bhagavan has not made. Therefore, it is not sufficient that on the chit something is projected that they become functional. No. For the functioning, all the faculties have to be owned by, permeated by the reflected consciousness yukta ahamvritti or buddhivritti. Otherwise, what will happen? The eyes, ears, and all the indriyas, without I, the conscious individual, they have to function themselves. Like in some of the cartoons or some of the graphics, they show it. That आंख बोल रहा है, नाक बोल रहा है, कान बोल रहा है, वो अपने आप इंडिपेंडेंटली करने लगते हैं. So like I'm seated in a chair, then my tongue felt wanting to eat something, or tongue went out of me without my permission, jiva, and gone into the refrigerator and ate something. ऐसा होता है क्या कहीं? Isn't it? So they are Chaitanya Yukta because Paramatma alone is expressing as them, but they cannot function independently. The Aham is required behind them. That very important thought we have to understand. Otherwise, if these Indriyas, just because they are projected on Paramatma Tattva, which is Chetana Yukta, they have to become functional independently. If you say, then every Rupanama in this world, isn't it? The mountains or the chairs or the pots or whatever in this thing, they also are nothing but the projection on Paramatma only. Paramatma is very much there in them also. Therefore, they also should start dancing by themselves. A pot should get up itself and go and fill the water under the tap and come back and sit in its place. When I call, the chair should come to me. Or the chair should kick that person whose weight that chair is not able to bear. Have you ever seen that? In the same way, the today mechanical कार्स एंड स्कूटर्स, ये सब भी परमात्मा पे ही आरोपित है ना. सो देयरफॉर उसमें भी परमात्मा का आरोपण के कारण चेतना आ जाता है. सो दे विल स्टार्ट मूविंग बाय देमसेल्व्स. दे वोंट हैपन. In the same way, indriyas, though they are functional because of the presence of Paramatma, still they are not functional independent of the individuality, the jiva. Very important new crucial thought we have to catch. And this is how from the beginning of creation. So, Nara Upadipuram Praptam Chetati Akshiputam Nayat, then Tasya Na Akshi Chit Jivam No Jivati Eva Sargataha. So, without Jiva, none of the Upadis function by themselves. So, okay. So, therefore, the Jiva, I, the individual, now who is the Janati Karoti Cheti Bhunkte, I have to be at that each of the faculties with my own Antakarana Vrittis. Mana Buddhi Chitta, mainly the Buddhi. Then only the functioning with the Indriyas happen. Otherwise, the Indriya by themselves can never function. If it happens, then it will be very chaotic in the life. है ना? Well, nothing will be in the control of anyone, as I told you now. You want to watch the TV, the eyes become tired, they say मैं सो रहा हूँ. बिना पूछे हमें हो गया. ऐसा हो जाता है नहीं तो. Okay. Then he says continuation. Mhm. Therefore, actually, this jiva, he has got the buddhi upadhi. Through that, he functions through the sense organs, and never it is independently. This is how always it is like that. Tatha kam tatha bhumir bhumitvena अप्सवज्जलम यद्यथा चेतति स्वैरम तद्वयत्येव तथा वपुः. Therefore, the spaceness in the space is by Paramatma Sankalpa. The Garima, heaviness, solidity of the Bhumi is that way made by Paramatma in the beginning of creation. So to Ambuvat Jalam, water in its own way. Yad yatha chetati svairam. In whichever the thing, with whatever the gunas, in the beginning of creation, the Ishvara has done sankalpa of tadvat tadva tadveti eva tatha vapuhu. So that Ishvara projects it to be like that only. So the Akasha with its emptiness, Prithvi with all its support of all the beings, water having the capacity for things to float in it. In that way, that Ishvara only with his Svecha has done all this Sankalpa. And while doing that, be attentive. Very interesting point. These things which are expressed now, in themselves, they may not tell us that they are like that, but they take up that Dharana Rupa. Whatever the way Ishvara has done Sankalpa. Like Ishvara gave me Manusha Sharira and identify with, I call as Manusha. So there are cow, dog, and animals. They are given those sharira and those natures. So they accept it. In the same way, the Prithvi, the Akasha, the Jala, the Vayu, they also are in their own form that way as planned by Ishvara. So they are like that only. So in this way, if you see, summary is iti sarva sharirena जंगमत्वेन जंगमम स्थावरम स्थावरत्वेन सर्वात्मा भावयन स्थितः. This is the very crux of the thought. Very important it is. So what do we see in this world? Four things: sthavara, jangama, stationary and mobile, jada, chetana, non-inert, insentient, and sentient. Isn't it? So in the sthavara, stationary, the living are the trees. In the sthavara, Stavara itself is stationary. In the stationary, the Jada are the mountains. In the stationary, the living are the trees. In the mobile, Anna, the living are human beings, etc. In the mobile, non-living are the Vayu and Jala, etc. Do we see these only na four things we see? एक जगह रहने वाले, चलने वाले. रहने वाले में दो जड़ चेतन. The जड़ रहने वाले is trees. Sorry, the जड़ रहने वाले mountains. चेतन रहने वाले trees. So too in the mobile, the Manusha Pashu Pakshi, the living mobile, the Vayu and the water, the non-living mobile. These are all set up iti sarva sharirena jangamattvena jangamam stavaram stavaratvena sarvatma bhavayan stita. That sarvatma paramatma only did his sankalpa to appear like that. Therefore, he is appearing because that is required for the play called as the world. Isn't it? Now all those appearances are his Maya Shakti. Take care. Then that Maya making all these appearances on what? The substratum only. The Moola Bhuta Padartha is Paramatma Tattva. Like I have 10 colors of paints. With them, I make my own choice of painting if I am a good painter. So here the paint is different from me, I paint. In case of Paramatma, the paint, the Upadana Karana also is himself only. And one crucial thought which million times we have to listen is, though Paramatma, he himself is Upadana Karana, as we see him in the form of this Jada Chetana Stavara Changama, he has not become like that. He has appeared like that. And that we don't understand. Therefore, we take these things as real, not seeing the substratum. Substratum never became like this. That's why the examples, the mud appearing like pot, mud never became pot. Aina? Clear about this example? So to Brahman, appearing as Thavara Jangama Jada Chaitana, he has not become them. He is there as Brahman within. This knowledge when we have, and that Brahman is within me as myself, and that Brahman within myself when I discover, the same thing I will be able to see everywhere. अंदर के निज आत्म स्वरूप को जानने से सब में आत्म स्वरूप में वही परमात्मा है. We will be able to recognize. Clear? Thereafter, we will be told tasmat yat jangamam nama tat svabodhana rupavat tena buddham tatastatvat tadevadhyapi samstitam. In this way, about because of his sankalpa only, Bhagavan made all the Jangama things as Jangama. And those things who are Jangama are now identified with that Jangamatva and behaving like that as per Bhagavan's Niyati right from the beginning of creation. So, Yad Vruksha Vidam Abuddham स्थावरत्वेन वै पुनः जंगमद्यापि संसिद्धम जडमद्यापि संसिद्धम शिलातरुतृणादि च. So right from the beginning of creation, Bhagavan has planned that way of the Stavara Vriksha, Stavara mountain. One is living, one is not living. So to Jangama Manusya Pashu Pakshi, Jangama rivers and winds. One is living, one is non-living. This is how the Prabhu in his Leela made all this in the beginning of creation. It never ends, it goes on going on. And all of them are at the creation level or the projection level, or when we see the name and form and believe them from that stand. When you go into the Adhishtanam, everything disappears. Like on the projected, on the screen when cinema is projected, so many things you see. The flowers you see, the gardens you see, whichever the different scenes. But if you go into the reality of anything you see there, only one common homogeneous one without second substratum, the screen alone is seen. Without the support screen, you cannot project the movie. Isn't it? And anything that's projected, it has substratum, the screen only. Remove that screen, nothing is projected. So too, With all these multiple things and their modifications, whatever continuously happening in them as substratum, Paramatma alone. But how come he is appearing as so many? That is his agatita gatana patiyasi maya. Then what we have to know from all this is what? At the empirical vyavaharic level, by that Ishvara's Leela, from the first of the creations, the entire things are behaving like that. So this is how one point. Second, why in this way playing this play, Ishvara is not bound. Third, all these play may whatever projected, he knows them as projected, never takes them as real. For he never forgets his self. In this way, the Jagat Srashta Ishvara, Ishvara has done this Kalpana of the Jagat. For him it is not real, he is not bound. These are all called the Tatpada Shodhanam, understanding about the Ishvara and the Jagat and the Sambandha. So the Jagat is nothing but Ishvara. Vivarta Rupena appearing. Not changed himself, but appearing like that. With his own Swashakti. In that Jada Chetana Stavara Jangama, which we see in this Jagat, that Ishvara alone is. फिर उसमें one more thing you can add, micro to macro. सूक्ष्माति सूक्ष्म से लेकर स्थूलाति स्थूल तक. जड़ हो स्थावर हो जंगम हो जड़ हो चेतन हो. And like a blade of grass, so small, but a gigantic, big Vatavruksha you see. Chota bada. So to a micro, small one cell organism you see. So to a huge dinosaurus you see. So chota ho, bada ho, stula ho, sukshma ho. Okay, jada ho, chetana ho, sthavara ho, jangama ho. It is play of Ishvara on himself with his own Maya. That is why we are trained through the Vibhuti Yogadi of Bhagavad Gita, etc., to see the divine in every one of them. The training to say that it is divine. Okay? With that saying of divine, our dushta buddhi towards the Jagat goes away. Okay? Then after our antakarana becomes Shuddha. With the Shuddha antakarana, inside we see the reality through meditation. That reality alone now we see as the whole world. At that time, what upasana we have done, that everything is Paramatma, that is experienced. That is of the विभूति उपासना से जगत के प्रति हमारे गलत भावनाओं को निकाल कर अंतःकरण शुद्ध करके उस परमात्मा को हमारे हृदय में मैं के रूप में जानकर वही सब कुछ है जानना. ठीक है. इन दिस वे तस्मात् यत् जंगमम नाम तत्सबोधन रूपवत् तेन बुद्धम ततस्तद्वत्. ओके. तत्तदेवाद्यापि संस्थितम. Therefore, whatever the Jangama Jagat also is there, it is all about because of Bhagavan Sankalpa, he alone is appearing like that and they remain so eternally when we are talking from the appearing Jagat standpoint. जगत को देख रहे हो ना, उस दृष्टि से ये हमेशा जंगम जंगम स्थावर स्थावर जड़ जड़ चेतन चेतन, the niyati remains. It won't change. You won't see the mountains moving, you won't see the trees moving, you won't see the river stationary, you won't see the Pashu Pakshi Manushya like a statue. Jangam Jangam, Sthavar Sthavar, Jada Jada Chaitanya. Each jiva having left his body as per his karma, karma phala, to those embodiments he will be given. He will identify with them. And that jiva who does all this and goes through all this also is an Ishvara's Leela only. Jiva Rupena Khel also Ishvara's Khel. So you and I are therefore Jiva, Jiva Ishvara. That's why Ahara Ahara Brahma Gamayati Karteve. When we are in deep sleep every day, where are we? We are one with Brahman only. Brahma Gamayati. But we don't know that. That's it. Today only we chanted in our Chandogya Upanishad, the last 8th chapter in the 3rd and 4th khandas, this topic only. In the Dahara Vidya topic. Next what? Yad vruksha vidhama buddham stavarattvena vai punaha jadam adhyapi samsiddham shilataruttrunadicha. So vrukshas in their identity. Thereafter Shila and Taru and Truna, the mountains, the trees, as well as Trunadik blades of grass, all of them, in whatever their nature, they still stand same even now. Patane, when the first creation started, they won't change. That is all again Ishvara Leela. Okay. Mhm. Then one of the beautiful thing is what? Uh, न तु जाड्यं पृथक् किञ्चित् अस्ति नापि चेतनं नात्र भेदोऽस्ति सर्गादौ सत्ता सामान्यकेन च. Both crucial thought. This much we'll study today. Therefore, from the appearance standpoint, from their behavioral standpoint, there are so many differences. The differences make the world happen. The differences make the world happen beautifully with all its variety of happenings. You understand? Like there are 10 actors acting in a movie, each one playing different role. No? The roles different played is giving the joy for that play in that play. Otherwise, is it not one common thing in all of them that they are all only artists? Commonality is artist. Then that art expresses in so many ways. Therefore, from the ways of expression, each artist is different. One is hero, one is villain. But if you talk from the art standpoint, they are all the role players, artists only. Oh, common have now. So from the artist drushti, there is no difference. Beyond that, each one is a human being individually, first of all. So in that way also there is no difference. So therefore, two things. For all of them, the substratum is sadvastu. No? From the sadvastu standpoint, there is no difference. Second, every one of them are mithya and kalpita. No? When there is mithyatva and kalpitata to them, you cannot compare and say something is greater, something lesser, all are same. Hai. That is very subtlest thing to catch. If we catch it, no, all the differentiations we make because of the seen differences, they go away. Differences seen, entertained, but not differentiated on that basis is called as spirituality. Hai. The differences are there as a play, but we need not differentiate. You understood? Like there are movies. Some movie में the hero is given total A to Z पूरे मूवी में उसी को इम्पोर्टेंस दिया जाता है. Others are secondary. In another movie, heroine is given importance. Hero तो कहीं कहीं बस आके जाता. Some movies are the villain pradhan, isn't it? Some are the comedy movies is the comedian only pradhan. So those differences are there for entertainment's sake. We need not give the importance to them and differentiate them. When do we do know that? Only when we know that this is all artists playing. उसमें कभी बड़ा एक होता है, कभी एक छोटा होता है. Most importantly, they are all kalpana. When they are kalpita, you cannot compare. Only if it is satya, you can compare. Satya is only one sadvastu. Without second, there is no comparison in it. This is the highest wisdom. Huh? That's what he said. न तो जाड्यम पृथक किंचित अस्ति नापि च चेतनम न अत्र भेदोस्ति सर्गादौ सत्ता सामान्य के न च. So therefore, there is nothing called as jada other than Brahman. There is nothing called as Chetana other than Brahman. Then, in the beginning of creation, the Ishvara Sankalpa made them appear. Therefore, because their appearances, you cannot differentiate them from the substratum standpoint. Satta Samanya ke. They're all having the Satta alone as their Samanya common denominator. From that standpoint also, there is no Bheda. So, Vrikshanam Upalanam ya Namantasta Sasamvidaha Udyadvitani eva Tani Teshamiti Sthitihi. So then something called as Vriksha, something is called as Pahad. All of those names are given by us for our transactional purpose. Okay. So one is Paramatma created them for his sankalpa, with his sankalpa for his play. They remain the same any time of creation anywhere. They won't change, otherwise it will be chaotic. To them, we give the names for our transaction. So the vriksha, when you call it as vriksha in Sanskrit, that vriksha doesn't know that it is called as vriksha. Or tree in English or paid in Hindi. Like a dog, you call it as Tommy. उसको पता नहीं उसको टॉमी कहते हैं. बस वो ऐसा बुला रहे तो रिप्लाई करने से वो बिस्कुट देंगे करके इट विल कम दैट्स इट. Everything like to my bones, I call them as bone in English. Bones doesn't know that they are called as bone. I call my eye as eye. Eye doesn't know that it is called as eye. I call it as eye to differentiate it from the other parts of the body. Nama is only facility. In there 6,000 languages are there in the whole world, or even more than that, 10,000. एक एक भाषा में एक एक चीज का अलग नाम देते. That's why if that nama is equal to language, you don't know, then even little transaction also you can't have. है ना? जापान में गए आप, एक शब्द भी जापान का नहीं आता, तो you can't talk, you can't interact. That's why the language is taught for the sake of facility. But the object remains object. So the Jagat is projected by the Lord, and there are names already given even Shastras. We, for our convenience, we give the Nama. But none of them are different from each other because they're all Kalpana. None of them are different from each other because for all of them, the Satta Samanyata, the substratum, the Sadvastu is common substratum to all of them. So the play is going on. So individual Jiva Drushti se the Thampada Shodhana, Marana, Samsara explained exhaustively. 7-8 days we saw that. From the Ishvara Drushti, it is with his Maya Shakti. He did Sankalpa of all these in that way. Usme even we the Jivas also come, our Buddhis. In our Buddhi, in the Ahamvritti, the Chit Paramatma expressing as the Janati Ichchati Karoti Bhukte. And he is given for Janati, the Buddhi, for Ichchati, the Mana, for the Karoti, the Karmendriyas, for the Bhukte, the Jnanendriyas and Antakarana. And in all of them, those capacities, mind to desire, intellect to understand, body and senses to function, all that one Chaitanya Paramatma only made them like that. That is his sankalp. That is Maya Shakti. अब देखो ये दृष्टि अगर हम 10 जन्म के बाद भी समझ लेते हैं ना, then we see the Paramatma sankalp and play in everything that's happening. Other than that, none of the things are neither real nor they are doing anything independent. Okay? Secondly, because that way we are saying is play, I, me, my or mora toratai, that Maya doesn't come. Therefore, easily I can withdraw from that. Isn't it? Immediately I can see the real. Like there are 10 paintings. 3 paintings are painted by me. 7 are by others. So the visitors have come to see. I won't attend to the other 7 paintings who are coming there, seeing, watching them. Isn't it? I am just a onlooker. मैं बैठा हूँ, बाकी paintings बनाने वाले भी बैठे हैं. Our paintings are displayed. The 7 are not done by me. So I won't look at those people who are going there. Even if I look at them, if more are there, then I feel jealous. But my interest is who are coming to see my paintings. Imagine all 10 paints are not done by me. I am just an onlooker. Because my namak, that ahamta and mamata are not there. Like a school teacher. 40 students are there. She'll teach them, beat them, punish. If one child is there who is her own son or his own son or daughter, हम उनका फिर उसका अलग हो जाता है, वो कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं. पनिश करो कि ना करो, वयसनेस रखो कि ना रखो. वेरी रेयर दे आर देयर इन द स्कूल, दे से यू आर नॉट माय चाइल्ड, वन ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स. फिर भी थोड़ा अंदर खुद तो रहता ही हो that this fellow should do well and get good marks. And if he gets good mark, the others say कि अपने बेटे को ज्यादा मार्क डाला. अब इतना झमेला है भाई, because aham and mama, my are more. But when you see Ishwara's play in everything, including in this lecture that listening, मैं बोल रहा हूँ आप सुन रहा हूँ, दोनों में एक ईश्वर ही आप सुन रहे, ईश्वर ही खेल रहे हैं. When I see his play, that's called devotion. Ahanta mamata goes. Then easily I can withdraw from it. I can realize this. Million examples. When you see a cricket match where India is playing, how attentively you see and pray to the Lord कि भगवान कुछ करके जिताओ, वे बार बार हार रहे, ऑल द चार्म इज गॉन, पता नहीं किस दूसरे देश लोगों का दृष्टि लग गई, एवरी टीम इज लूजिंग. The men's team, the women's team, the A team, the B team, the under 19 team. Sorry, even they're losing to Ireland and England, Sri Lanka. सबसे पछाड़ पछाड़ कर हार रहे. ये भगवान जिताओ. But if you are seeing a match where two other countries are playing, कौन जीता क्या फर्क पड़ता है? You only. It's only a play you watch and enjoy. Understood? And any time if it's not India match, you can put it off and answer your call. हमारा मैच ही तो इंडिया खेल रहा है, वो भी मत फोन कर, मैच देख रहा हूँ. Where is all that nautanki? In our own mind's attachment. That is why Shankara Bhagavan or Tulsidas very clearly said, in the outer world, everything is Ishvara Srishti. Among that, towards some things, Maya Mora, Toratai, it is called Maya. Jahi Basaki inni Jivani ka hai. That's why he said, go gochar jaha man lag jaye. So sab Maya. What is mind and what mind says? What are Indriyas? What Indriyas are saying? All of that is Maya. Okay? This is enough. We have covered up to Shloka Sankhya 58. So 10, 12 more are there. Maybe 1 or 2 days we will do this circle. We are attempting, we are trying to grasp. थोड़ा थोड़ा दिल दिमाग हिल रहा है ना? That's a good beginning. Become more intense, deep, prepare your intellects, etc. Sharp and subtle. More understanding. But the understand पक्का होता रहता है तो दृष्टि चेंज रहता है. The दृष्टिम ज्ञानमयं कृत्वा पश्येत् ब्रह्ममयं जगत. That's called moksha. Om Purnamadaha. Sri Ramachandra Bhagavan की जय. धन्यवाद.